Hey, this is just a quick note to let you know that Team Champs 2025 has been sponsored by City Strength. You're probably already familiar with City Strength. They're Australia's exclusive retailer for SBD, but they also sell a broader range of strength and powerlifting related equipment. So a big thanks to City Strength for sponsoring our competition this year. And I hope you enjoy this episode. But anyway, we're here. G'day everyone. I'm here with Bec Chambers. Beck is co-owner and head coach of Paragon, a repeating team at Team Champs. So we're looking forward to having another New South Wales team. I think we have 2 New South Wales teams and then a Tasmanian team. So it's always a pleasure to have interstate teams coming to our comps. I think it's personally a bit of an honor. But anyway, we've got Beck here. So thanks for joining us, Beck. How are you going this morning?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm glad you're wearing your Team Paragon hoodie. It's represent. That's it. Pride. I mean, it probably has to do with the fact that you worked this morning, but we'll take it. We'll claim that it's for the call.
It was just for this.
I think I commented on our episode last year that it's funny to do this with you because we're obviously friends and we have to pretend to be all formal and like, oh, so tell me about your strategies. But okay. But yeah, much like a lot of the other coaches, you're one of the more experienced coaches, not just because you guys were there last year, but you've been there the year before and the year before and the year before. You have a long history of coming to Melbourne for Team Champs. And yeah, it's an honor for me that you guys are making the effort every year to come back. When was the first Team Champs that you did? I think you coached at the end of your challenge, maybe, with
Obsidian.
My brain wanted to say Paragon. Yes, Obsidian, thank you.
Yeah.
So you've been coming back every year, and you always make the effort. What's your history there, and why do you keep coming back?
I just like you.
I'll take that as a compliment.
No,
I presume you like the competition.
It's a good comp. I feel like it. I guess you say I've done it a lot, but I think it kind of legitimized me early on. Getting an invitation when I suppose I saw myself as like a new coach or someone who was maybe like lesser known in powerlifting, so I always
when imposter syndrome was at its highest.
Yeah, it still lingers, I'm not gonna lie, but I think back then it felt like pretty validating and a bit of a privilege to get the invitation. It's a really fun comp. It's probably the best comp I would say there is, other than like a nationals, where that's obviously just going to be the best standard of lifting because of the lifters who are invited. But yeah, the concept's amazing. I love that you work on it every year and add stuff to it. I really appreciate the effort that goes into it. It's really creative and it's just the best concept. Like, who doesn't love a team event for an individual sport? It kind of, it gives you that team aspect that is missing from powerlifting. And I love that.
Yeah, I love asking everyone this because they always just say nice things. So it's like I'm basically fishing for compliments. So I appreciate it.
I knew it.
Gotcha. No, but I do think it actually is an extra effort, obviously, for you guys that are interstate, because you have to not only rally a team who are going to be competitive and you are a competitive person, but also people that are you have a limited pool of people who are willing to make the trip and make the effort. It's not as accessible, when you've got local gyms down the road, they can basically choose from their whole roster, whereas your roster gets whittled down almost immediately by people who might not be available, who can't afford it, who just don't want to really spend the money to travel for a competition when they can just do a local one at a local gym. And so do you think that's a bit of a disadvantage, obviously, trying to rally? Is it hard to rally people, or is it kind of easy and you get people pumped pretty easily?
No, yeah, literally, absolute, contrary to that is everyone at Paragon is like, oh, when's the Team Champs team going to be announced?
Oh, cool.
Who's Beck going to pick? Not that it's completely up to me, by the way, but everyone is asking me nonstop, and it's really cool. So I actually feel like we had maybe a pool of 8 people that we were considering, and any one of them would have come down happily.
Cool. That's actually so good. That's legit.
I know. And also there are obviously some other factors going on. We have a bunch of amazing lifters who have just competed at juniors who aren't going to back up 4 weeks later. We have people who did, just other conflicting comps, which meant that I couldn't choose them. But yeah, even without those people being considered, we had probably 8, maybe even 9 people that could have come down. And then now that we have our team. Yeah, they're really proud of that. So it's not difficult to get people to want to go.
Awesome. Actually, that does, when you say that, it actually made a lot of sense and it was very quick for me to understand because, yeah, you guys were one of the teams that brought such a big crew. Like, you guys were there
Mm.
helping out last year, the day before, and the day after, and that kind of stuff. Like, you guys have got a really good culture there. So that's really nice to hear. Now, you mentioned that you've got your team picked. Do you want to talk us through who is currently nominated for Paragon S&P and talk us through who they are and their backgrounds?
Did you
I
just
can
say?
remind you of your official submissions if you'd like.
I thought you just said Paragon SMP, like sex, money, power. But anyway,
Yeah,
um,
you hear what you want to hear. Freudian, it's like a Freudian slip, but the other way around. Like, you hear what you. This is a new business venture. Yeah.
okay, so our current team is Ricky Lau, who's one of our coaches, and he's going to be bulking to the 120 plus. Um, he's currently at home with just 20 Krispy Kreme donuts. He's not having a good time.
Because he's mainly
Um,
lifting in 105s.
yes, yeah, true. And then we've got, and I think probably both, yeah. Then we've got Antonia Wong, who will be lifting in the 69s. She's been working with me for, I think, coming up to 3 years. And yeah, is in a pretty good vein of lifting at the moment. I think that she'll put together a really nice PB total. She's got a
I feel like
really
I've seen her
strong,
name around the traps for ages. Like, she's pretty experienced,
yeah.
isn't she?
I think this will be her fourth or fifth comp. She did
Okay.
junior nationals with USAPL last year and she won her weight class, so that was pretty cool. She has a really good deadlift, and I really love coaching people with good deadlifts because it's just more fun to be able to put whatever you need on the bar to pull for the place. Then I've got Ash Armanasco. She's just unbelievable. I love her so much. She's in the 84 plus. She'll probably pull over 200,
Cool.
which was amazing. Yeah, she pulled 190 at Open Nationals for USAPL last year and probably had another 7.5 or 10 in the tank that day. So she's had a couple of really good blocks and she's looking great. And then the final lifter is me in the 63s. So yeah,
Did you want to elaborate on yourself and your history?
I mean, I haven't competed much for the last like 4 or 5 years, but yeah, that's why I'm wearing the hoodie because I'm just like so diced underneath this.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and I'm getting really cold because I'm like 8 kilos lighter than I normally am.
Yeah. Yeah. Very,
Um,
very shredded, very mysteriously competitive. But I do want to quickly talk a bit more about the two mainstays, Ash and Ant.
okay, yeah, we call her Tony, but yes,
Sorry, Tony. What about? Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, yeah, of course. I was going with a first half. Anyway.
yeah,
No, but Ash competed at Team Champs last year, right? But did Tony as well, or she was there?
she was there.
Yeah,
They're supporting. Yeah, she was part of the Paragon support crew.
the cohort. But Ash lifted last year, didn't she?
She did. Yeah,
And how did she go last year?
she came second in her class, and the Panthers athlete beat her.
Well, that's right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That was like a really important weight class actually for the Panthers' overall result.
it was very important.
But Amelia was quite
Um,
strong.
sorry.
I think it was Amelia Phillips. She was like
Yes. Yeah.
super
Oh,
strong.
amazing. Yeah, it's so good. Like it wasn't really a battle in the end, to be fair. And I think also something that was worth considering last year was that Ash, and she'll admit this herself, we've had lots of conversations about it, was really thrown off by the heat on the day. Like deadlift slipped in her hands, just felt really fatigued by bench press. She squatted extremely well. I think we got like a 10 kilo squat PB, but then from there, yeah, the day just got the best of her, to be honest. And it ended up not being a very good comp. But you know how there's always those comps where you have like a terrible day and then it either just like absolutely crushes you or it adds this element of motivation to your training that you otherwise wouldn't have got. Ash definitely had the latter result
Awesome.
and it has been fantastic for her. Like, yeah, I don't know how to describe Ash, but she's just very, like, she's always like seems like an underdog. Like she's not very outward with how good she is at powerlifting. So I think it's a real tribute to her character that she wanted to put together multiple blocks of training to make sure that that never happened again. And that's where she is now. So
Awesome.
it's kind of cool. Yeah.
I mean, that's the kind of person you want to be coaching, right? Who's just got that right attitude.
Yeah.
I mean, it is hard. Like when you do have a bad day, it can be very demoralizing, and then you question, why am I even putting all this effort into this, like, arbitrary pursuit? But yeah, I mean, being able to take that, roll with the punches, and then come out the other side stronger is really, really good. You mentioned the
Yeah.
heat. I'd be curious to do like a statistical analysis of like lifts made at Team Champs versus the year prior. Because
Bro.
yeah, for those that don't remember, it was like 40 degrees plus both days. There was a lot of missed lifts. Like you mentioned, people dropping deadlifts. I think what happens is like people chalk their hands, and in the 45 seconds between chalking your hands and going up to the bar, you start sweating, and then your hands are just wet again. Like at least
100%.
enough to affect top end deadlifts. Just it was insane. Like people just couldn't stay
Yeah.
hydrated. Our little space gets really warm when there's enough bodies in there anyway, let alone on such a hot day. So it was really tough conditions.
Yeah, it was crazy. I think if anything I learned from that comp, it's on a hot day, just forget about the chalk block and just grab some liquid chalk. Like the chalk block is
Mm,
freaking useless. I'm always going to travel with liquid chalk from now on because if I
that
had
is
my time again, I would have just done it to every lifter. I think it would have made all the difference.
That's actually such a good bit of practical advice. Like in the heat, liquid chalk better. Because for those that I haven't used liquid chalk much, but it's basically normal chalk mixed with alcohol, and the alcohol dries out your hands or something.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, some people do both. Like they go liquid chalk and then let it dry, and then regular chalk on top.
I think the only drawback of that is that if you're going to drop your deadlift, it's going to rip your hand open. But yeah, that's
Okay,
yeah.
so it's
I
like
think
literally the skin holding on.
yeah, genuinely. So that yeah, it's otherwise
Yeah, like
a
the bar
great
is
thing.
so stuck to your skin that it does your skin stick to your own hand. Like,
Yeah, like your hands come off. Yeah, in
yeah,
Toy
you get
Story
degloved.
how you oh, don't say that. In Toy Story how that potato guy his arms just come off at one point. It's like that.
I'd honestly rather that than dropping an actual deadlift. Like that's like a valiant effort.
Yeah,
You get remembered for a long time.
yeah.
Yeah, good one. And we were talking a little bit last
Thanks.
year, and last year was the first year that we introduced like the challengers bracket and the premier bracket type of format. And you guys were lifting in the challengers bracket, and one of your goals was to get into the premier bracket this year, which obviously didn't kind of eventuate. But you guys were really
We
close. Like you guys were
we
so
were
damn
so
close, and
close. We were one away. One away.
you were one place away. Is that right? So remind me of how it went, because you would remember it better than me. I mean, I should have the results somewhere, which I should have pulled up before
Um.
this.
So basically, I can't actually remember who ended up getting through. Obviously, Panthers, and then we
Like the top
we
four
basically
was Panthers, Chads. On day one, it was Panthers, Chads, SR Collective, and Stronghold, I
Chads.
believe.
That's right. Yeah, makes sense.
So you guys were fifth on day one.
Yeah,
So close.
sad times.
Sad times. And is it fair to say that that's kind of the goal again this year? So kind of make qualification and make it into the premiers for the year after.
Yeah, 100% has
How
to
do you see your
happen.
chances? Like looking at some of these nominations, I see Ash is in a group of three. Tony's in. Where am I looking? Is doesn't really have anyone else in her class, I don't think.
No, it's just tones.
Do you see yourself as a genuine chance to kind of make that top four on day one?
No, I'm not going to be there.
No.
No.
Who do you think is going to be the kind of like main teams to look for?
Do you mean me personally or our
No,
team?
no, no. I mean, as in you guys, as in
Oh,
Paragon.
yeah. Yeah, we're great. We're going to do it. 100%.
That was a massive misunderstanding. No, no. Do you see Paragon as a genuine competitive chance in the top four
On day one.
on day one to get through for next
Yes.
year? Yes, yes. Okay, that's what I'm trying to get at, and then we elaborate from here.
I see. Okay, go on.
Like looking at the classes, you guys have a pretty competitive group in
Yeah.
each of the individual categories. So I
Yeah.
wanted to talk through your chances of taking out first place in each weight class, how you guys are going to score, how other teams are going to score, how you foresee the
Okay.
day kind of panning out.
All right. Okay. So I think that Ash will take the W easy. She will be in a competitive spot on subtotal by the end of bench, and then she'll pull to win. And yeah, it might be close, but if I had to be egotistical, I would say it won't be close because I've seen Ash pulling deadlifts in training, and she's looking really good. Tones, obviously, I think at the moment is the only nominated 69 on day one. So we'll just put together the best day she has, and that's it. And then, I mean, Ricky in the 120 pluses, like, we'll just have the best day possible, and so will I.
Sounds like a very good strategy. For those that aren't reading between the lines, there might be some changes coming to the Paragon nominations list in the next week, but
Yeah.
those are yet to be seen. So we will see how that goes. And um, there was a lot of talk about some of the strength of the other teams, like some of the teams that are getting spoken about are Compound, Process Powerlifting. These are some really strong teams. Who do you kind of see as being the top four on challenges? Because I know that's like something that you really want to do, is like get into that top four and get into the day two for next year. And some of those spots, in some sense, I mean, I never want to say like are locked in for some other teams, but you're vying for four spots, but some of those spots are going to get filled pretty quickly. Who do you kind
Yeah.
of see as like being those teams that you need to that are like going to be the most competitive on day one, I suppose?
Yeah, I mean, Process will definitely have a really good day one result and possibly even an amazing overall result. Um, I wouldn't be surprised if the Process team finishes top three overall, which means obviously on day one they're going to smash it. I think it will really be between them and Compound on day one to get first place, just based off the points that I think that they'll be able to put together. I also think Compound could do really well overall. I think by the time day one finishes, don't really see many teams on day two being able to take away the points that Compound will be able to get on day one. Although I do think it comes down to a couple of the boys that are in that team who I know have either gone up or down weight classes. And I spoke to Jack during the week at Masters and Juniors Nationals, Mega Nats, and he did say that he has one lifter in particular who, based on his performance during the week, it was really going to come down to how he might go at team champs, like the way that you walk away from a comp, I guess like 4 weeks before you do another one can really impact the way you're going to feel about your progression in the next 4 weeks. So maybe that'll be a factor. I'm not sure. And then I'm just going to throw in Alex Delaportis into the mix just because I feel like he's been bluffing me the whole time on who his team actually is. And I wouldn't be surprised if he makes like a couple of late changes.
Yeah, right. That's like you're right. There are some competitive. I mean, like, a lot of these teams are very experienced. Like I know Process and Compound haven't competed at team champs before, although you can make a case for Alex having been there before, obviously.
Yeah.
But these are really experienced coaches. Like, and I think that's one of my favorite things as well about this comp is the standard is so high. Like the lifting quality is obviously very good, and like you said before, maybe not as high as the nationals, as you would expect. But the coaching quality is very high. The coaching quality is very, very high. You have very experienced coaches. And I see this competition as much a athlete competition as it is a coach's competition. It's like, I mean, that was how it was originally, I guess, defined. Teams were a coach, like a single coach plus their lifters. And so in some sense, it's like a battle of coaches. Like who's the best coach, both in training, giving your athletes the best chance to improve and have the best results, but also on the day, like who's the best at making the individual calls and picking right attempts, hustling for position, like all this kind of stuff. And when you look at the list, like you mentioned, Alex Delaportis and obviously Compound and Process, and many of these other gyms and coaches are just like very experienced. They know what they're doing. There's no easy wins. There's no like, oh yeah, this lifter's going to forget about, isn't going to jostle for place. Like everyone's jostling for position. Everyone knows how to compete, if that makes sense. Like everyone knows actually how to compete in the sport of powerlifting, not just lift. And so, yeah, there's some like really, really good quality there, I think. And you're amongst that quality, of course.
Yeah, I agree. Look, I think that I had a conversation, probably better described as an argument, with Alex Hayes at a City Strength comp not so long ago, where he was saying that why would you bluff your team? Why would you make late changes? Because really, like, if you have the strongest lifters, it doesn't matter who else is there. And like, I agree with that. Obviously, if you have the strongest lifter in that class, then you're going to win. Like, that's pretty straightforward. But the thing about Team Champs is it actually is about what classes you choose. Because look at Panthers last year. Like, they ended up winning overall, having competed on day one, which meant day two could see what they did. And yes, I think they ended up having a 90. What was the weight class in kilos APL, 92.5.
90. Yeah, there's 90 flat
90.
and 100 flat.
Like, I think they had a 90-kilo male lifter where it was like he ended up just having the best total because there were a lot of 90-kilo boys on the second day that couldn't beat him. But the other classes they had, I think they had maybe one or two people in them. I'm pretty sure in the 100-kilo plus women's, was there anyone on day two? I don't think there was. And then they
Yeah,
also had
probably
a,
not.
a really light male lifter. So it was like they actually just picked the classes that had no one in them. They did really well to do that. So it wasn't actually that they had the strongest lifters. Anyway, I'm just trying to get back at Alex while he can't argue back right now. And I know he's already done his interview, so I win. But I think that it's not just about, yeah, like there's strategy, there's picking the right classes, there's coaching really well, but at the end of the day, if you pick three classes that have nobody else in them, then is it about coaching or is it just about turning up?
But I mean, like, that's the thing, right? Like, it's about turning up, but that's part of the good coaching. It's like
Yeah,
having a diverse client roster, being lifters that are competitive in all these categories, having the ability to choose, like having depth in your roster is like, it's almost like that's part of the measurement. It's like if
yeah,
you're a really good coach, but you only coach 10 people, you don't have a lot of people to choose from. Whereas if you're a decent coach and you have 50 clients, you're a gym, like Melbourne Strength Culture would be, or us, you've got a bigger pool of people to choose from. So, like, I mean, that's almost like part of the measurement. It's almost part of the test. It's like, if you only coach 83, 93 kilo men and you're a really good coach, well, you're going to have a hard time at team champs. You need to have a little bit of diversity in your roster. You need to have that ability to choose across the weight classes. Last year was particularly interesting because I actually can't find the results exactly right now, but I think it was like Panthers. But like there was another measurement of like average dots of the team. I think by average dots, Panthers were like 10th or maybe
yeah,
like 12th or something, but they won. And like the average dots was like 370 or 350. And then everyone else was like 450 average, 440 average, 430 average, like way above them. But you're right, they just picked the classes that were less populated. I think that was also one of the big flaws of lifting in USAPL was that there were so many classes. Like there were
so
so
many.
many, yeah, there were so many divisions. Whereas in APA, that will be less of a problem. Like, yes, we have less teams competing this year than last year overall, but the fact that there are less classes means that there's going to be less weak classes. Like that's one thing that I did speak to, maybe it was Alex or someone else about. There are going to be less of these opportunities to like target empty classes because there are just less classes anyways. Some of that will be a little bit resolved this year, but I do agree with you in general. Like, I think you want to leave no stone unturned. Like, why would you not try to be as competitive as possible in every way? And yes, some of these like meta strategies probably make up less than 1% of your result, but you would hate to lose by 1%. Like if you lost by
Yeah,
1% and you didn't actually take advantage of that, then, I don't know, if I was a lifter on that team, I'd feel a little bit not cheated, but like a little bit, why didn't we do everything possible? Why didn't we leave no stone unturned?
yeah, that's for sure. I think like one aspect of Team Champs that like gets in my head a little bit are the changes, like the fact that because you got the first round changes where you could make two changes, and now we've still got that period up until what, May
I think a week from today. Oh, the end of this week, sorry.
17th?
May 19th.
Oh no, 19th.
Oh, no,
Um,
17th. Yes, sorry.
oh, Saturday, yes, wait. Like, because now you can make another two, it's almost like your whole team could have been fake. Like, so it's kind of hard. Like, we've run a spreadsheet. You say, like, oh, it must be hard getting people down to team champs, like you mustn't be able to decide because you just don't have enough people that want to come. Like, no, it's not even that. Like, the people who don't get chosen are like, okay, I'm on the spreadsheet. Like, I've got like someone like doing the spreadsheet. When there's an update, they like put it in, they send it off to me, and then like we like work out like where everyone's going to be. But that whole thing could be fake. We could have put in all that effort, and everyone might change their team. I was at Elemental the other day, and I saw Michael, and he even said to me like, "Oh, we have like 9 people prepping, and then at the end of it, we'll just decide who we want to take." I was like, "Oh, like wow, yeah,
I love that. That is
yeah,
sick. Yeah, we have 6. Yeah, we have 6 prepping. Yeah.
yeah." Like I get it. You just want to have a backup.
Well, yeah, part of it, I mean, this is like, there's multiple things here. Uh, Part of it is, hold on, I'm just going to write it down so I don't forget.
Okay. You also never asked me about Antonia. You only got me to talk about Ash, and then I never talked about Antonia, just so you know. So
Yeah,
we
sorry,
should
we'll go back
we
to,
should
we'll go
circle
back to
back.
Tony. Yes, we should circle back. It's because we talked about Ash's previous result, and then I started talking about you guys' most recent challenges, and then there was a whole thing. So asterisk, sorry, Tony, we'll come back to you. But we're talking about depth, choosing a team, the fake thing. Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
that's why I kind of like last year we saw that a lot because there
Mm.
was no restrictions. It was just like open slather, and there was even one team that just did a whole full lifter swap on the last day,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, which is kind of bullshit, but it's fine. Like it's I never will hold it against someone who does everything by the rules. Like if it's within the rules, then the rules and you don't like it, the rules need to be changed, not the team. That's my attitude. So that's why we changed the rules to make it like limited. There has to be some level of like changes allowed because you know I want it to be fair for everybody. Like injuries can happen, and there needs to be like this type of backup. And that's honestly
Hmm.
why TSF have six prepping was because if someone gets injured 5 weeks out, I don't want to just suddenly have to tap someone on the shoulder and be like, by the way, do you want to start peaking? um,
Yeah.
and so having the backup plan, like the backup lifters, just training like heavy, like they're not peaking, so to speak, or they weren't. They're just training heavy and like kind of ready to kind of transition if they have to. Um, so to have nine is freaking awesome. Like that's actually kind of insane. So part of it's obviously like, okay, backup for when people get injured. Fortunately, we haven't had to deal with that. But also, yeah, like, well, depending on which classes kind of empty out, we might swap lifters in. But my one of my favorite parts about it, like you said, that gets in your head, is that it all has to happen simultaneously. So you don't actually know. Like
I know.
it's not like in a powerlifting meet where someone makes a change and then you see the change and then you can counter change. It's just like you go all
It's
in with your
like,
eyes closed and just have to hope. And
literally.
then you like open your eyes and you're like the next day, like Saturday morning, the thing gets updated. I remember last year, I think I was at Nick's. I think I was in Sydney, and I
Mm.
had to like create the post like on Saturday morning. And then I like when I posted it, and I just within like 5 minutes or 10 minutes, I was on Instagram. I saw like three stories of people like at gyms checking the updates. Like it was awesome. Like I loved it. Um, so I know it is stressful, but it's kind of part of the fun. Okay, let's
Yeah.
go back to Tony. So talk to me about her training. She's junior national champ. This is kind of all over the place, but we're getting there.
No, this is just life. Yes. Okay. So Tony won her class last year. It was really great day for her. Honestly, it was like the moment, when you're coaching a lifter and you're like, oh, you're clutch. Like you actually, you have what it takes.
Mad.
Um, I always thought she was good, by the way, just in case she's watching this. But it was that moment where I was like, oh, you're actually really good at this. Like you're good under pressure. You can execute when the pressure's on. To be honest, on that day, I didn't really let her know what was going on. Like I had the other lifter who was challenging for first place, like in the back of my mind, but I didn't want to put too much pressure on her. Yeah, and she pulled her last deadlift, and then we won. So that was mad, and she's even stronger now. To be honest, I don't know. She's just a weapon. Does everything right. She has a really high drive to impress me, which I think helps. I think there is like a healthy amount of like wanting to make your coach proud. That is
Yeah, I think
really
that's a good
it's
point.
really good in a lifter. Yeah. Obviously, like I'm always proud of her, but she really has a good drive to improve. She's an athlete, and she's also, honestly, I don't know if I've ever told her this, but when I first started coaching her, she wasn't somebody who I thought like, oh, this person's going to be like a national level lifter. I just started coaching her and thought she was awesome, and now I look at her and I'm like, oh, this girl could go so far.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, all her lifting's the best it's ever been. She'll PBF squat. She's PBF to squat in training. PBF to bench in training.
She is she out of juniors now?
Yeah, she is. She's in opens now. So yeah. We didn't get the opportunity to compete in juniors with APA, unfortunately. Otherwise, she probably would have been at Mega Nats. But yeah, she's a good chick, and I really like her, and she's a really good representative of Paragon as well. Like I'm proud that she represents Paragon.
Awesome. That's actually such a good point. Is that like, I mean, I take it that it isn't something that's important to you as well, like picking people that are just generally good representatives, not only as competitive athletes, but just good people.
Yeah, 100%. Like I honestly think that I would prefer not to make it through to the Premier bracket with a team of people who I think are good people who give back to the sport, who compete beside their competitors in a gracious way, then to potentially have the opposite of that. But I suppose, that's my value system, and other people might have a slightly different value system, of course.
No, definitely not. I think like that's actually such a common sentiment. Like even speaking to a lot of the coaches, it generally is people, a lot of the coaches, a lot of the clubs tend to bias towards people who have been around for a long time, have been loyal to them. I got a client I've been coaching for 5 years, and it was an easy pick for me because I just know that they're the right person, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. Forget who, but someone else made a comment about someone might not be the strongest person, but they might bring that kind of energy or that enthusiasm to the group. They keep the group chat lively. Like all that kind of stuff is just so undervalued, I suppose, or it's like not necessarily undervalued, but like hard to measure. It's
Yeah,
intangible.
yeah, agreed.
And I think if you have someone who you like get along with, who gets along with other members or the other parts of your team, then that can actually have a net positive.
Yeah,
I think most people are like, well, obviously you want to pick the most competitive people, but I think it was actually Alex Hayes who said, like, if two people are more or less very similar in terms of ability, and one of them I've been coaching for 5 years, and the other one I've been coaching for 6 months, well, it's kind of an easy choice in the end.
yeah, agreed.
And I know for us at TSF, that's like a really big choice. Is like we tend to bias towards the people that deserve a spot as much as those who are just like if we had a guy walk off the street and he was like just a machine, I'm like, not yet, man. Like maybe next year, like earn your way there. I'd almost feel like not fair for other people who kind of deserve a spot as well.
Yeah, I get you 100%. We did joke last year because like you said, there were so many weight classes last year that it was like if you could just find somebody who could go in, I think it was like 140 plus. What's the weight class in USAPL?
Yeah,
It
140
was
plus
like,
was the biggest one. Yeah,
we're just going to go to like our local rugby club and just like find the biggest prop and just be like, come with us. We need you for like 6 weeks.
yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah. Are you able to squat all
pay
the way down?
him. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Can you reach squat depth? That's all we need.
Yeah, yeah.
Silly.
Excellent. All right. Well, it should be a really fun comp. And so I just want to kind of round things off by asking about your picks. You kind of mentioned already, so I just want to make it a quick one about the challenges bracket, UC process, and compound being the top there, and even potentially being top 3 overall. Was there someone in particular or another team that you thought was a favorite overall, or anyone from the premier bracket that you really want to keep an eye on, or even a lifter that you're really keen to see, or a team you're really keen to see kind of hit the platform?
Um, my pick is compound. I think that they will be hard to beat, even with the advantage of the premiers lifting on the second day. I stand by that confidently based on the current nominations. I think that we will see some changes, which could change my mind. But I will be making a statement prior to team champs because I want to be able to screen record me on the record saying the winner like I had last year.
Well, what we can do is we can actually just like after this film another bit that doesn't go up on the main podcast where you say, I reckon this team's going to win. And you say it for all 19 teams and just say it super confidently. And then we just save them. And then whoever wins, we just pull out that sound bite and we're like, yeah, she got it right.
Sick.
She knew.
Yes, yes, please.
She called it.
That'd be good. Who on day 2? I mean, Elemental's always up there, aren't they? They always have some sneaky tactics, which I love.
Oh, yeah. Michael's so good, man.
Yeah, he is. And maybe Apex? Apex has a pretty solid team, I think.
Yeah, for sure. And that's the thing, it's like these teams that you're mentioning, like Apex and Elemental, they're just like mainstays. They're always going to be up there. Like they're 100%. Never going to. I would find it very hard to believe that Elemental gets relegated. But I mean, anything can happen in sport. Like I'd almost love to see it just for the drama, but these teams are always going to be competitive.
Yeah, absolutely. I think also like there's a lot of teams that currently have people backing up from masters and juniors nationals. And I don't know, I feel like it takes a certain kind of lifter to be able to back up 4 weeks later. Even if they had, would any of them have had a sub-maximal comp? But even if they had like a perfect day, their fatigue is as low as it can be, I still think mentally like that's a big ask. So
yeah,
anyone with those kinds of lifters backing up, I think is potentially, moving towards disaster. I don't know.
Moving towards disaster. How ominous.
Yeah.
All right, Beck, it's been a pleasure as always. I do love having a giggle with you and talking shop about powerlifting. Yeah, like I said at the start, I'm just excited that you guys are going to come down, bring a team. You always bring some good energy. Oh, and you're also the unofficial official host of the after party. So you
Oh
want to say
yeah.
anything about this?
Oh yeah, cool. Yeah, so I think that we need to have an after party because we always used to. The banquet was always the best part of big comps,
Mm,
I feel. Like way better than the lifting. The banquet was where it was at. So I think that we need to have like some drinks. It doesn't even have to be like a big deal. I would prefer that people didn't come in their dirty powerlifting outfits. I would prefer that everyone got changed and brushed their hair, but up to you. You won't be judged if you don't. So just somewhere local, Sunday night, maybe starting
details
at 8:30.
details to come
Details to
out.
follow. Yeah.
Details to follow. TBA.
Yeah.
Follow
Yeah.
closely for more.
Yeah.
All right, we're looking forward to it. That is, you're right. That is one of the best parts. Like the banquets are always a good time.
Mm.
And in the past, we even used to do the presentation at the banquet, and that was like a bit of a like, you'd better come because otherwise you're not going to get your medal.
Would we do that? No.
We could. I mean, we'll talk about it. We'll leave
Okay.
it to us. Everybody,
All right.
you wait until you see. All right, thanks for your time. You have a good day, and yeah, I appreciate you making the time for this.
Thanks for having me.
All right, bye.